What's up, everyone? So, a friend of mine wanted me to do a react to this, and I see this just released today 52K views from Japan called Don't Be Fooled by Them, Please, Yasuke Assassin's Creed. So, let's go ahead and dive into it. If y'all don't know, I'm doing Assassin's Creed 2 streams right now. I just finished doing 8 hours. I'll be doing some more tomorrow. I'll be getting to Brotherhood, Revelations, Odyssey, and Mirage. So stay tuned for that on my Twitch and on my YouTube. And I'm covering and showing historical accuracy on them. And, I'm having a blast. But all in all, let's dive into it and see what this brother right here has to say.
Don't be fooled. Communists are all behind this fiasco. Everybody.
So it's interesting that he says communist, right? Because who was part of the Communist Party? Hiroyama. When he stepped in after Thomas Lockley disappeared.
Mr. E here. Today we've got a pretty wild topic to dive into that's been causing a big stir both in Japan and around the world. Of course, we're talking about Thomas Lockley, his Japanese book Nobunaga to Yasuke, and you guessed it, the crazy misconceptions surrounding Yasuke, the so-called African samurai. Alright, so here's the deal. Our boy Thomas Lockley, a British author, wrote this self-claimed academic non-fiction book, Nobunaga to Yasuke, where he claims it was popular for Japanese people to have black slaves to show power. This claim was spread like wildfire, leading some people to bizarrely conclude that Japan started African slavery. Surely we all know that's not true whatsoever, right? We on the same page?
Yes, we are on the same page because that's not true. That's like trying to shift the blame of what the Brits did and the Jesuits did and put it on the Japanese. Which, that's bullshit. We all know that. At least if we're not dumb and ignorant.
To condemn this ridiculous theory, one guy tweeted this and it went viral. If black slavery really existed in Japan, there would have been historical intimate drawings of black men, like this one we have with Rayfish. This bizarrely convinced so many Japanese people that we did not have black slavery in Japan. For real, what do you think about it? Luckily, it didn't stop with just his book. As I explained in the last video, he, as Tottori Tom, allegedly edited Yasuke's Wikipedia page to convince people that Yasuke was the first.
So if people didn't know this, this was a alternate identity by Thomas Lockley at Nihon University College of Law, Tokyo, Japan. That's where he edited the Wikipedia. Messing around with Japanese history. You see it says joined 12 years ago.
African samurai, citing his own books from the future. But according to the actual historical Japanese documents, the story is mostly Lockley's imagination and speculation. Did y'all know that he even got to change Yasuke's page on Britannica? It got verified too. Furthermore, the Japanese national TV studio NHK made an educational show, Black Samurai, based on Lockley's books filled with his own imagination, directed by, you guessed it, Lockley himself. He was even in the show with the...
Oh, get out of here with that.
Yo, can I kick it?
big ol' smile. And now the archive of the show.
So he was in the show. Like, are you all seeing the connections here? I'm also supporting what he said. I already covered this, but it's good to support this. There's people that want me to react to this. And if we can just get this out more to people over here and where I live, I'm in Texas, by the way. If we get more people to see this out in Western society, because he's doing this in Japan, the more the better. This is good. So that's why we need to get this growing and get this going every day as much as possible. And I've done my part, more than that, and I'll keep going because I'm like that. I have, as much energy as possible to do this, and I love doing this. This is awesome. And by the way, I'm at 3,000 subs. Thanks, y'all, for all the support. I appreciate that.
Show is conveniently deleted on the website. Isn't that crazy? Well, put the seatbelt on, because it only gets worse. Luckily, associated with an infamous non-profit organization supporting refugees, spread the false story that Yasuke's dark skin was seen as godlike, to the point where Japanese thought he was related to Buddha.
That's what he was talking about in that podcast. My last video is talking about that, and I told you that he was making up stuff and he was speculating. And this is another way to fill people's fantasy with something to make them feel a certain way when it's not real at all, and it's not real to reality and to everyday reality. He's sitting over there playing games with y'all. and Buddha is from India. But Indians do have skin color like that. We can just go right here and just go to India. Dark skin. It's no problem. Everybody knows Indians can look like that. You see what I'm saying? This can happen in India. But we're not going to relate Africans to Indians. You know what I mean? They can look like that. Some of them can look even darker than that. Look at this guy from India. You see what I mean? So we got to be careful, like, because that's what I try to tell people before. Like, if you try to describe somebody as a race by a color, that is absolutely stupid and ignorant. And this is why this is big in America. I would say describe what's in your DNA, like me: French, Dutch, Irish, German, Hebrew. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say black or white or even like when people want to describe themselves as Hispanic or, you know, it's just better to say and know what your ancestry actually is, where your tree branches back to. Even in the Bible, it's like that. You know what I mean? Describe who you descended from. That's what really matters. Not saying, oh, I'm just this color. I mean, I'm this color. What is that supposed to mean? Just like if somebody would say, like, for this situation right here and the Assassin's Creed situation with Thomas Lockley, and remember, he has a co-writer that did that book with him who's German, by the way, if you guys didn't know about that. I did this also in my one of my videos before. Let's go take a look at, because all this is important right here. Oh, they're just being annoying now. Watch this right here. This guy's being ignored. And it blows my mind that people are not saying anything about this guy. He's the other Arthur that's been doing this too. Geoffrey Girard. Or Girard. Excuse me. He's from Germany. But basically what I'm saying, yeah, he's the co-writer for the Samurai books. Nobody's saying anything about that guy though. But just, you know, wanted to let you guys know that. Basically what I'm saying is that if you decide this is just all white people, what is that supposed to mean? Thomas Lockley's British. White liberals that were in Canada are not the same as British people. That guy was German. People at Ubisoft that are leading are French. And then you got the woke colored people up in there too. And the other woke crowds that are the liberals behind it. That's 5 different types. But if we only just said white, we're not going to be able to identify what we're talking about. But if we said one guy was German over here in Germany, that would be so much easier to identify. This guy was British, not just white. You know what I mean? That's not going to help. No, we need to identify people individually and get the individuals that are involved to be responsible for this. Not just saying a spectrum, because spectrums are not racist. No, what you are and what race you're from, which has a name and your DNA, is what should be identified. Otherwise, the other stuff is ignorant, and people from America need to wake up from that crap. But let's continue here.
He also claimed that Yasuke was so holy that Japanese people wanted to see him so bad that they were collapsing onto each other and causing casualties. Again, more.
Hey, see, he's an asshole for that because he was actually a slave and he was enslaved, and he came over there humbly, hoping maybe to find a bit of solace. Then he ran into Nobunaga, who's also infamous, but the Jesuits still had him. Therefore, if the Jesuits were so good, why would he want to even leave them to go to anywhere else? You see what I'm saying? He came to Japan with them. It's not like he was just, oh yeah, let me just go to Japan. No, they were going to Japan. They want you to focus on them so you can't see why they were there and what the hell is really going on. They were the ones bringing slaves over there. See, then they try to shift the blame and all that type of stuff. That's why I said the stuff with, like, Yasuke is so insane because it's blown out of proportion. He was just a regular guy who was enslaved and went over there to Japan. He didn't do anything like this. Like, they're literally gaslighting the shit out of African Americans and other people that want to think like that. And it's just insane because when you do that type of stuff, that means you want people to be distracted. You don't want them to see the truth. That's literally what that means.
Mostly he made this up because there is no such record. But this was also verified on freaking Britannica. In various interviews, Lockley kept spreading these myths, causing more confusion overseas. This seems to be the root of the entire Yasuke misunderstanding. Surprisingly, my also Japanese fans discovered that Lockley's book is even in the Japanese textbooks, misleading young kids, our future, into thinking his made-up story is factual. Now that is a big problem. Many are considering involving the Ministry of Education into this whole fiasco, and rightfully so. Lockley now has a Japanese surname, Kinoshita, likely meaning that he has a Japanese nationality. Many Japanese are currently signing a petition to get him fired from the university, where he works as an associate professor, and to get his visa and nationality revoked.
You see, if he would have done the right thing, I would have said, man, this is a guy that came into Japan and respected Japan. You want to know what he's doing? This is called invasion and murder to their history. And brainwashing a lot of other people in the process. And making a lot of money and sitting in the background being a fucking joker and a clown about it. You see, this isn't nothing new. This is now being done through the medium of entertainment in a video game and along other processes, because before that game existed he was doing this, so he would have did that whether the video games existed or not. This was just a way to hope that he would be able to get mass promotion. So you got to realize this is a real problem, a historical problem, an indoctrination problem, a disrespect problem, a racist problem to a certain extent against Japan. And the way that people view Africans, not necessarily African Americans, because this is based off of the 15th century. There's no such thing as an African American. Doesn't really exist anymore. That doesn't even make sense, because American or America is founded in 1776, and the White House was there. A colored person has nothing to do with that. So that term together to me is stupid. And a lot of people talk about that too. The term is stupid. It doesn't make any sense. But anyhow, it's just insane, the stuff he would have got away with if we wouldn't have been doing this. Let's continue.
This movement is gaining a lot of traction. Personally though, I don't know if that's necessary. I simply want his apology for spreading the false information overseas.
Literally.
What do you think about it? Okay, now let's talk about two key...
What do I think about it? He's trying to decide what to say right now, and he went to play the slide man and disappeared off the scenes.
Supporters of Lock Lee, Yu Hiroyama and Mihoko Oka. Let's take a look at them one by one. They might surprise you. Starting off with Yu Hiroyama. He's the guy who made a viral tweet that you guys might have seen already. He has been supporting the idea that Yasuke was an actual samurai. Initially, the argument against Yasuke being a samurai has been that there is no historical record of Yasuke having a surname. Many profound experts have been saying that no surname, no samurai.
I already covered this though. We know he's not a samurai now.
Pretty simple, right?
But he never was. But like I said, that's still irrelevant though to what the hell is really going on. But Thomas Lockley and them, like I said, they did such a good job at doing what they're doing in a fucked up way that it's gotten this ridiculous.
You know how ritual we Japanese could be at a time. Our ancestors were documenting literally everything. We even saw the rayfish example. You convinced too now? So the record is very reliable in this case. But Yu's argument was that there are many samurais with no surnames. Yasuke went through a process to become a samurai, and he received a Japanese sword and house from Nobunaga. However, many pointed out that even if some samurais had no surnames, that doesn't necessarily mean Yasuke was samurai. Plus, there are people who got promoted to samurai with surname just by winning a sumo competition, skipping the whole promotion process. And Nobunaga was known for giving away swords and his houses to people he liked, even if they were just mere sumo wrestlers. More importantly, Yu had studied the Takeda clan, not the Oda Nobunaga clan, which Yasuke allegedly was a part of, which are two completely different families with different rules. So Yu Hiroyama might not be the best person to ask about Yasuke to begin with. As you know, his argument went viral, with Western Yasuke believers going nuts, calling Japanese people racist for not accepting Yasuke as a samurai. But I want to tell them that Yu's argument is flawed.
You're gonna call somebody racist that gave you the history that he even existed. If somebody was racist, they would have deleted that and made sure you wouldn't even been a part of Japanese culture. They wouldn't even step forward and make those videos trying to say, let's honor him in the right way. Racism would be like, man, I wouldn't. That would be shameful for me to even have even an African step foot in my land. Delete everything. They don't say anything about him. Who the fuck do you think made Afro Samurai? You brain dead morons. Like they're so stupid sometimes that it blows my mind. You know, do we need to do this? Who's the author? Who gave you that? The fuck are you talking about? You must be stupid.
He doesn't even have a PhD, and he isn't considered a professional history expert in Japan. Well, he's rather considered a clown. The fact that many people believed him is kind of a joke to us. Furthermore, he admits.
Hey, bro, but you know that's people that are dumb. I feel you on that, man. I'm sorry that you have to see so much ignorance over here. That's why y'all have the highest IQ in the world and the smartest race on the planet. I can't say the same for certain people, but yeah, I'm very sorry about that. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, so you can realize that over here. And my name is Michael, by the way, so you can realize that there's brightness over here, there's genius over here. But that you're talking about, yeah, that's all the way bottom of the bottom. So let this represent the territory better, not that nonsense.
Admitted that he used to work for the Japanese Communist Party and has run campaigns to destroy the Japanese imperial system, which is a huge left-wing movement often seen in Japan. You know how nowadays communism is behind almost every single political fiasco funded by a specific ideology trying to ruin our fun. Japanese people believe that he's just a puppet of such. Those Westerners believe his word while screaming communism is evil. Isn't that hypocritical? Now let's talk about Mihoko Oka. She's been eloquently defending Thomas Locke Lee on her alleged X account. By the way, she's an associate professor at Japan's best Tokyo University. So we were wondering why such an educated figure would defend this scam.
But you got people really thinking because somebody has a degree or something that somehow means that they're supposed to be like holy like Jesus or something. They're supposed to be trustworthy. Some of the shittiest people you can meet have a degree in something. All of them are in those high positions that are corrupt right now. They all have degrees. They all have titles and papers. That don't mean shit. No, you test them by who they are and how you connect with them. You see how who they are, what they do, what they represent, like in reality. Some of the most evil people in the world have all that. But you have people with this type of mentality that thinks that because that means something. And then they went on Twitter giving Hirayama all these things that he really just don't have just to try to prove a point. It's like, just stop being dumb. That don't mean anything positive. You could also be perfectly brainwashed with degrees. And all that information could just be to control you. To promote the system and its corporations. So that you're not an entrepreneur, so you don't know how to develop anything in yourself. You dump everything outside into them and then they can drop you off. You ain't did nothing for you inside. You ain't developed inside. Everything was outside. And it was all the programs and indoctrinations they put you through. And I think those degrees can mean something. It really depends on who.
Turned out she's been connected with Thomas Locke Lee since long before. You remember the deleted TV show I mentioned earlier, the one Locke Lee directed? She was associated there too. However, she was criticizing the whole show because of the historical inaccuracies. But strangely enough, she deleted such negative comments against him right before she started defending Locke Lee. She also co-authored a historical book about Yasuke with him. And her Portuguese husband, Lucio de Souza, praised Locke Lee's latest novel. You see, people are suspecting that she has been defending him for her own good, but we never know how deep the connection is. Nevertheless, the connection seems very suspicious. She's also been known to attract a lot of...
And these are a lot of people over here, if y'all don't know, over in Japan that are promoting when people says, where's your evidence? They'll name her, they'll name Locke Lee, and they'll name a historical employee that's at Ubisoft, like all the stuff they'll name all linked together, and it just blows my mind. And that's all they have to say. And then they'll start defending them and tell you what they have and all this. I'm like, man, shut the hell up, man. That's like me going to those corrupt politicians over here and saying, oh, no, bro, Well, why are you attacking him, bro? He has a degree in all this and all this and that. It's like, just dumb. Like, just be quiet. It just, don't say nothing. It'd just be better.
Leftist, liberal, LGBT supporters. So you see what kind of people we're dealing with. Regarding the recent UBI's apology statement for Assassin's Creed Shadows, they acknowledged that debate over Yasuke being a samurai. But there is no real debate. Our historical documents prove he wasn't one. Their statement didn't feel like a genuine apology to many Japanese people either. We even discovered that the statements in English and Japanese are slightly different. In the Japanese one, they said that they acknowledge that Yasuke is the center of the debate now. But in the English version, they said that this is a matter of debate and discussion, as if there is still a hope for him to be samurai.
There's no such thing, and as a matter of fact, as I covered on my last video too, a friend said there were 60 documents from Japan that never stated he was a samurai, nor did he fight on the field with Nobunaga, and he couldn't even fight like that. Not only that, but the only document that they got that from was all the speculation that he was just saying about, and that was from a Jesuit document. So you had Britain, the guy from Germany, Ubisoft from France, and then you had all these liberals that were feeding all this to people over here. It's the same thing why they don't want you to go to other countries and listen to them. It's the same way why they only want you to look at one history, so you can only see from that point of view. And that's why I tell people with certain mentalities, if you lock yourself to one spectrum, it's just like you being locked here. You only believe everything in America. Oh, you're perfectly brainwashed. You lock yourself to one race. You lock yourself to one point of view. You are just like these people because you are stuck in that, and that's all you can see. And you can't see anything else. And there's a lot of people that are closed-minded like that. They're very one-dimensional, and it's very sad. I don't know what to say. But it's bad like that, because that's called being divided and conquered and stuck over there and separated in that illusion. This is what it is, because life is unity. It's a universe. It's not a spectrum of color.
This gap between these versions is also one of the millions of reasons why Japanese people are upset about this statement. Lastly, I keep seeing many people in comments and other social medias go like, this is just a game, why so serious? You see, this is no longer only about a game. It's about rewriting.
They're also very dumb, and then there's a lot of people that do that because when you put them in their place and they realize how big the issue is and they have nothing else to be backed up by, they're going to make that type of statement. See, it's no different than saying just racist. When somebody was calling Japanese racist, there's no intelligence behind any of that. It's just empty, soulless statements for people with small mindsets that can't see the bigger picture and don't want to see the bigger picture. So they're going to say something ignorant like that because they're not high-minded and they're not aware and they don't understand how deep this runs and how long this has been going on the planet. They don't understand spiritual warfare here. They don't understand any of that. They're just ignorant, and they're not even worth taking serious. I'm telling you.
Writing a history. We all need to stay vigilant against those fake historians trying to alter any country's beautiful history.
Good job, bro.
Thank you for listening. Peace.
He's not having it. He did a good job. You see, this is what I like seeing. And then he has 52K views out of Japan. But you know, Japan is smart. They know this, right? We need more people over here in the West to wake up because this is who they're targeting. And then they're using them to attack Japan and then brainwash them into believing things that are not true. All right, y'all. Like, subscribe if you like this type of content. Glad to do this. And I'll be doing some more stuff. A lot of people want me to keep going. They like what I'm doing. So guess what? I'm still in here. All right, y'all. Have a good evening, good morning, wherever you're at around the world. Japan, I know it's morning over there by you. Probably around 7:38. Over here, it's 5:38 p.m. So we're in different time zones. But hey, we're synced. We know what's going on. All right, y'all. Peace.